So my story started with me and growing up in one of the worst housing projects here in the United States. The crime rate was insane. It was so insane that police would be afraid to go into that area at times.
What?
Um,
Wait,
so
what
in
area
it,
was this?
what was that? Say that again.
What area was
So
this?
this was up north. So this was in Connecticut. So Bridgeport, Connecticut. I grew up in five panic housing projects, and
Wow.
so in addition to that, I was born with something called sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell anemia is a chronic blood disorder, and it's something that really causes a lot of pain when you go into what's known as a sickle cell anemia crisis. I mean, I've spent literally, I would say, hundreds of days in the hospital. Especially when I was a lot younger, I would be in the hospital for weeks. I would be in the hospital sometimes for up to a month, and had to learn how to walk all over again at one point. Had to learn how to use my right arm at one point. I've had two hip replacements in my life. So, growing up in one of the worst housing projects, plus being born with sickle cell anemia, I'm like, listen, I have to make it through this. There's like either you just lay down and you cry, or you say, I'm gonna bust through every single obstacle that can be put in front of my face, because there's nothing else that gets worse than that to a degree, right?
Right.
Um,
Okay.
right, or so I thought. And then I started seeing other things. I remember being about 12 years old, and I was in Yale New Haven Hospital. I was having a sickle cell anemia crisis, and I had been in the hospital for maybe about 2 or 3 weeks when outside of a door, my hospital room door, I heard my mom and the doctor speaking. And the doctor says to my mom, and this really matter of fact tone, he says, Mrs. Cohen, you shouldn't expect your son Tyrone, which is my real name, my full name, to live past the age of 17. Right. So here I am.
What?
I'm a 12-year-old, and I'm hearing my mom and my doctor have this conversation. They didn't know that I could hear it, right? Because they're right outside of my bedroom door.
Yeah.
And man, I just put the covers over my head. I'm in my hospital bed, and I just start crying, because the reality of how severe the disease that I have really hit me at that point.